You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello, and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neil, and I will not be your host today. We have a special guest in the studio. Today we're actually going to have Jason, who's returning from a match as a contestant, to come back and host for us. And the reason we are having Jason back here is kind of a special event for us. You are now listening to episode 10, which is our, anniversary of launching this podcast. But the reason Jason is here is he hosts our trivia that we go to every Monday night at Brixie's Pub. And our team, Pain Don't Hurt, competes in games that he writes that sometimes are way too hard, but we still kind of pull it out, or we end with 0, which we like ending by betting it all. So without further ado, let's hand it over to Jason.
Well, thank you so much for that, Neil. How are you guys doing this evening?
Hey, we're doing great.
Good, all right. Excellent. Thank you so much for having me back, by the way. This is going to be a lot of fun for me and hopefully you. Mostly me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the invitation back. You guys ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the record, the teams today are going to be Neil and Matt versus myself, Ken, and Jeff.
There was definitely debate as to whether or not they were going to fly solo or if they were going to team up, and I know what's about to happen, so I strongly encourage them to team up in this regard. And knowing them, knowing me, I don't think they were willing to disagree with that notion either. Triviality is 20 questions in a variety of topics worth 10 points apiece and split into 2 rounds. At halftime, there will be a special swing round designed by me, where players can take a larger lead or gain some ground for a comeback. At the end of regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have the chance to wager 0 to 30 of those points on 5 questions based on their confidence of the final round categories. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Gentlemen?
Yep, I think we're ready.
And let's start the game with question 1. There's a state in the U.S. that's home to a college whose sports teams are known as the Banana Slugs. What state is that?
Start right out with geography and college football. Well, college whatever, I guess. But my 2 weakest.
I wanted to land right in your wheelhouse out of the gate.
I've heard of this. I've seen a little mini documentary of them on the internet. Like, we are the Banana Slugs.
Yeah, I've heard of it too. All right, let's go with that.
You know what?
I'm fine with that.
You guys are in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of like your thinking there going into the South, because I was listening to a podcast with a guy who's from Louisiana, and he found banana slugs and would sell them. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's in Louisiana. I just remember, he's from Louisiana, and he would find banana slugs and he would sell them. But it was also in an episode where they were talking about traveling, and I don't know if he traveled to one of those states that you put on.
Right. Well,
Neil knows a lot more about this than he initially let on.
Right.
I mean, I know banana slugs tend to be a southern, because I think that they have to be in kind of a moist, hot kind of area. So my guess, originally I was thinking Georgia, but I think Louisiana is a pretty good guess. Do you want to just go Louisiana?
That's fine.
Okay, we're going to lock in with Louisiana.
Okay, and you, Ken and Jeff?
We're just taking a 1 in 50 guess and saying Wyoming.
I regret to inform you that both teams are incorrect in this case. The answer is actually California.
Yeah, the southern state of California. I was so close.
A good half of California is, in fact, a southern state. But the University of California at Santa Cruz, a Division III school in the NCAA, home to the Banana Slugs. And for the record, possibly not the most interesting D3 school name that I found in my research. You also have the Storming Petrels of Oglethorpe University and the Webster University Gorlocks.
Yeah.
What the hell is a Gorlock?
I don't know. I didn't attend Webster. So, fantastic. We are starting off swimmingly today. Are we ready for question 2?
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. The Pont des Arts is a bridge in Paris, France, that until 2016 was a site for a particular lover's custom. What object did lovers need to bring to participate in that custom?
We're in.
Oh, right out of the gate there.
Lover's custom. Pont des Arts.
I know what it. I've seen this. It's something where I think that they would either write their names or something on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those
Oh
lines.
yeah, that's rumbling something in my head where they would. Is that one of those things where they bring something and attach to a tree or a fence or something and it stays there forever? Oh, it's a lock and key.
Lock and key?
Yeah.
Okay. We are locking in with lock and key.
Okay, and you gentlemen?
So out of sheer pettiness, I hope they're wrong because I wrote padlock down almost immediately, and if we are correct, because they said lock and key, I'll be disappointed.
Well, the key symbolizes that there's a way out of the relationship.
So probably not the key part.
Well, as your host, I do have to make a bit of a distinction as to the answers you've given me, and I've decided that I will accept lock and key along with the correct answer, which is a padlock.
Okay,
That's fair.
Thank you.
If I can tune in really quick on the Gorlock thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a make-believe creature that was designed by Webster staff and students through a contest. It has the paws of a cheetah, the horns of a buffalo, and the face of a St. Bernard dog. And it looks dumb.
So it's the human beings from Community?
Because, of course, what else do you call that chimera fail than a Gorlock?
Sorry for getting off topic.
Not at
there.
all.
Go ahead with
Man-bear
the trivia.
So yeah, in 2016, Paris officials actually began installing anti-love lock devices on this bridge in an effort to keep it, one, safe and two, free of any damage. But I'll tell you that the Paris hotel officials in Las Vegas actually sell pre-opened padlocks without keys so that lovers can attach them to the walkway leading up to the replica Eiffel Tower.
It's a beautiful story.
It's not the only place. There's a lot of other famous bridges that have padlocks. Where people
Several
go.
locations around the world.
Especially in continental Europe.
But arguably the most famous location, the Lovers Bridge, is Pont des Arts, which I had to spell phonetically. Are we ready for question 3?
We are.
Let's do it.
All right. Question 3. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the first feature-length animated film produced by Disney back in 1938. What film was their second full-length animated movie?
This is
thank you.
second. Yeah, I think we got it.
Are you fine with that?
I'm good with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's cross out Robin Hood. Cinderella, for some reason, is kind of landing in the 50s for me. Fantasia feels like the easy answer, and I think it's wrong.
Okay.
Knowing Jason, he's going to give us a harder one. But you said Fantasia right when I wrote it down. You just want to go with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Fantasia from Neil and Matt. Ken and Jeff, what do you have?
Yeah, we were also mulling over Song of the South, but what we went with was Dumbo.
I have to let you know that nobody at any point during this question said the correct answer. It's an odd one to leave out, but it's actually Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah.
Released in 1940, Pinocchio was the
I
second
knew that
Walt
one
Disney
was
film's
that one
feature
was
length.
very early, but I felt like somewhere in my mind Dumbo was sticking as number 2.
All right, question 4. Mm-hmm. All right, I will let you know this answer is a multi-part answer.
All right.
I'll tell you that in advance. And your question. Allegedly named for Reuben Kulikovsky, a grocer in Omaha, Nebraska in the early 20th century, a Reuben sandwich is traditionally made up of 5 specific ingredients. You must name all 5.
So I was just listening to a podcast where the entire round of questioning was about sandwiches and their ingredients, and I completely just blocked out all the answers that I remembered from that. But one of them was the Reuben, and it was talked about quite heavily. But I pulled some of the answers. I'm hoping with Matt's additions that it's correct.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So we're positive about corned beef, sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, rye bread, and the dressing is where we're getting hung up. Now, I initially wrote Thousand Island dressing, and Jeff is saying Russian, but I know every Reuben I've ever had was like a more mayonnaise-based dressing. Now, Russian is more of it's kind of like French, but it's deeper red, right?
But the question isn't what is the common one, right? It's what is the original?
Traditionally is the word that is in the question.
Right. And I think, and I'll tell you because I've heard this specific phrase before. So the way to orient a proper Reuben is axis neutral ally. So you have kraut, Swiss cheese, and then Russian as your... Again, that's anecdotal, so that's where I'm coming from. I will agree with you. I've had them plenty of times with Thousand Island dressing, but...
You don't even eat meat, Ken. You've had
It's
one?
up to you. Well, Chicago Diner on Halstead has the best vegan Reuben sandwich you'll ever eat.
Is that the only vegan Reuben sandwich you've ever had?
Yes.
So that's why it's the best.
It's also anecdotally the best.
They have good shakes there. Okay.
We're going to go with Jeff.
All right.
Okay, so Ken and Jeff, we'll start with you.
Corned beef, sauerkraut, Russian dressing, Swiss cheese, rye bread.
All right, and Neil and Matt, what say you?
So we said corned beef, sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, rye bread, and we went with Thousand Island dressing.
All right, you've put me in a slight bit of a predicament with the two differing definitions on the dressing. I will let you both know your other 4 ingredients are absolutely right. During your opportunity to talk it out, I did a little bit of research to confirm whether or not the traditional dressing was one or the other or both, and I'm going to stick with my original response on this and say that the 5th ingredient is indeed traditionally Thousand Island dressing.
Nice.
Well, Jason, I can't say I disagree with you.
They are very similar, but they are distinct enough that I have, with apologies to Ken and Jeff, I can't give you the points on it.
No, that's all right.
That's okay.
I think you made the right call, to be honest. So.
All right, we move on to question 5 in the round. Long Island in New York State is pretty long, at about 118 miles from end to end. What's the longest island in the world from one end to the other? And to be clear, Australia is considered a continent for purposes of this question.
Kind of mad about the 118 miles because I remember that from a previous question you had asked, and I was just like, come on, do it again.
Yes, that source of information indeed came from a previous pub trivia
whatever
question.
Do it again.
You pick out of those.
No, you got it. I'm pretty sure we're good.
Okay. We're in.
You're in?
All right, we're kind of going over different places. It's not our strong suit or a specialty.
Definitely not. This is the time where a geography question comes up and I say I should look at a map, and then I don't.
I know.
And then
So we wrote down Greenland, and I don't know if that's an island. I feel like it's just a country.
But I think let's go with it. I don't care.
Okay, yeah, I don't care either.
Greenland it is.
Okay, Ken and Jeff?
After cycling through a few different answers, we decided that we would go with the king of all islands, Greenland.
And Greenland is in fact correct.
Oh, wow.
And for what it's worth, it's not even close. Greenland is
good.
far and away, outside of Australia, the largest island on the world. It's also the longest from north to south. Comes in at about 1,500 total miles.
Yeah.
But, and this is important to any kids listening, Greenland is not as big as you might think it is.
Mm-hmm.
The Mercator projection, due to the way in which it references the world on a 3-dimensional sphere to a 2-dimensional map, grossly elongates things at the extreme north and south. Africa is actually about 14 times larger than Greenland, despite the fact that the Mercator projection has them very visually similar. All right, question 6. While parody songs do not infringe copyright laws, Weird Al Yankovic still seeks the permission of any artist he intends to parody. Paul McCartney refused to give his blessing for ethical reasons for a parody of which of his songs?
All right, we're locked in.
Okay. Feel free to talk it out, Neil, Matt.
Yeah.
I wrote down Ebony and Ivory first. I could see that being an ethical thing. I'm just trying to think of other famous Paul McCartney songs, and I'm guessing he went with a Beatles song that Paul McCartney sang lead on rather than a Paul McCartney solo song.
Yeah, or Wings.
Right, or Wings. So I think you'd have Hey Jude, you'd have...
Because it could be like something that he wanted to do with the song that he didn't think was right. And I mean, so Ebony and Ivory sounds like...
I could see that, because it's about, two races.
Harmony.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with, Ebony and Ivory.
So Neil and Matt are locked in with Ebony and Ivory. Jeff?
We went Hey Jude.
All right, so you've gone with a Paul McCartney solo piece. You've gone with a Beatles song. It is a Wings track, namely Live and Let Die.
I was going to put that, and I was like, it's a James...
ethical basis on that?
The ethical basis on that is that Weird Al's version was titled Chicken Pot Pie.
Of course it
And
was.
Paul McCartney, a vocal, outspoken vegetarian, asked him not to record it. Weird Al never did. However, you can catch him perform it live occasionally.
Because he couldn't let it go. It was his baby. He couldn't let it go.
Wasn't Coolio the one where he didn't get permission, then recorded anyway?
That's arguably the most famous case of it. Coolio, there was a large amount of confusion between the record label, the artist, and Weird Al, essentially, as Weird Al claims. He got permission from the record label on Coolio's behalf to write and record the parody Amish Paradise. Coolio, after the fact, came out publicly and said he never got my permission. Since then, Weird Al has doubled down on assuring that he always got confirmed rights from the artist or songwriter themselves. There are a couple other notable artists that refused to give permission to Weird Al for tracks that he recorded, including Prince, pretty much any Prince song,
that makes sense.
and Weezer.
Oh, that's
also
interesting.
refused him the rights to do a polka based exclusively on Weezer songs. Question 7. The briefcase in Pulp Fiction, the necklace in Titanic, and the Maltese Falcon in The Maltese Falcon are all examples of what type of plot device with a Scottish name popularized by Alfred Hitchcock?
We're in.
Neil and Matt quick to the draw on this one.
We got it too.
And you've got it as well? I'll start with you
that.
guys. You were feverishly writing that down.
It is the MacGuffin.
Yeah, my favorite McDonald's breakfast sandwich.
And Ken?
We also put MacGuffin.
And MacGuffin it is. Nicely done, gentlemen. They are indeed MacGuffins, which are by definition in the film world some kind of motivator that in and of itself isn't important to the plot, but instead exists in order to move the plot along. It's Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan.
The Ark of the Covenant,
yeah.
the Holy Grail.
The sausage and Freddy got fingered.
Oh, excellent example.
Oh, boy.
Excellent example. Hitchcock used several of them in his early 50s films. And I think notably in North by Northwest, and I forget the exact line that he used, but basically the question came out, why are you seeking this? And the answer was something along the lines of, because we need to find it.
Yeah.
All right, on to question 8. In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad move. Is the opening line of a book in an inaccurately named trilogy by what British humorous novelist?
You repeat that one more time?
I will repeat the opening line for you, sure. In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. And we're looking for the identity of the British humorous novelist who wrote that as the opening line of a book in an inaccurately named trilogy.
So I was thinking of people that weren't typical authors. So I was thinking of people that wouldn't be your normal novelists that were British, and I went to like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, but I don't know of a trilogy of books that they would have written. But the line in the beginning, the universe was created, stuck with me there because Dawkins talks about the universe, so does Hitchens. But religion and whatnot. Then I wrote down Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, Arthur C. Clarke.
This is driving me crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think
he's a British humorist.
Yeah.
You want to put him, I guess?
That is 50% of what we need.
Okay.
One criteria met.
All right, Neil and Matt, you're locked in?
Yeah, why not?
Ken and Jeff, want to talk it out?
Just go with
Jeff. So Ken and Jeff?
Jeff wrote Stephen Fry on the paper.
Stephen Fry, okay.
Just based on the British humorist item.
That's a fair cop for
but,
sure.
I know that I've heard this. I read it. I don't think I read the books, but I know I'll know it once I hear it. I don't think it's Stephen Fry, though.
We came up with a British humorist named Stephen Fry. So
he's a wonderful British humorist.
Before you say the answer, I was trying to think if it was the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy guy, but I don't know his name. But anyway, continue.
It is a shame you don't know his name because the correct answer is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy author Douglas Adams.
That's right. I was going to say that, and I was like, I don't know the author. There's no point in talking about it.
Douglas Adams wrote that as the opening lines to the first chapter of The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, which is the sequel to the increasingly inaccurately named Hitchhiker's Trilogy, which at last count
6 or 7
consists of at least 5 books and possibly 1 or 2 non-canonical follow-ups.
These questions about that book come up a lot, and I keep saying that I have to read them because people keep asking questions about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I've got that book on my shelf waiting for me.
Yeah.
I found it at a thrift store.
Right, question 9. A palindrome is any word, phrase, or name that is spelled exactly the same forwards or backwards, like kayak or Madam, I'm Adam. What is the fitting term for a word that spells a completely different word backwards, like pots and stop?
I'm going to go with Videodrome. Neil.
Oh, long live the new flesh. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of smart. I mean, according to his clue, I don't know.
If it's not right, I like it.
That's fine.
If it's not right, it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, both teams are locked in. Let's go ahead and start with Neil.
So we were thinking that it's possibly palindrome kind of backwards, and we put nilapdrome.
Nilapdrome?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ken?
We just made up a word and went with anadrome.
Ah. I will say that you are closer, not quite correct. The correct answer is, in fact, immordnilap.
Oh, it's the full thing
Which is
backwards.
indeed the word palindrome spelled backwards.
Well, we're on the right track.
Which makes immordnilap itself an immordnilap, which defines that as an autonym.
Yep.
Mercifully, question 10 in the first half. Fish, sink, teabag, C-note, tweener, haywire, sucre, and abruzzi. These 8 names could all be found on what TV series?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a show with an ensemble
Does that
cast
sound right?
that could...
Well, this guy was a character on that show. He was a bad guy.
Do you know if any of the others were?
The other one, I can't. I mean, they would call someone this that just arrived.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay.
I like
You go
that.
with this?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, Ken and Jeff, we will start with you.
We went with an ensemble cast, like we were saying, and we went with Legends of Tomorrow, though I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a wonderful show. You should. Just wrapped up its 2nd season. And Neil and Matt.
So, I was writing Sopranos because of Abruzzi, and then I wrote G.I. Joe thinking of Haywire because that kind of sounded like a G.I. Joe-ish name.
Okay.
Then I read Teabag, which was a villain played by Robert Knepper on Prison Break. He was very good in it. And I know Fish is synonymous with being a new person at a jail, like a rookie. And so we went with Prison Break.
Nice job teasing it out. The answer is indeed Prison Break.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. So after round 1, it has gone some way. I will let you know that Neil and Matt are currently ahead 50 points to Ken and Jeff's 30.
Oh, boy.
All right, the swing round traditionally is a round where you guys have an opportunity to catch up, kind of compete against each other. This time around, we're calling it Name That Tune, but in this case, tune is spelled A-N-S-W-E-R. It's a phonetic difference, I know. But the round is Name That Tune, and here's how it's going to work. I'm going to start, we'll call it randomly, with Neil and Matt. You will take the lead on the first question, and then we'll ping pong back and forth to Ken and Jeff. I will ask the question. Every question here has a numeric answer. Neil and Matt, once I ask the question, you are going to give a bid of how close you think you can give to the correct answer. Ken and Jeff, you will then have an opportunity to either give a closer bid or to allow them to answer by saying, name that tune. Again, spelled A-N-S-W-E-R. Now, if the team who gives the bid is close enough to the correct answer, they will earn 20 points. However, if they are incorrect, then the other team will receive 20 points. So are we clear on the rules and how this is going to go? Okay. So Neil and Matt, we'll start with you for question 1. How many total countries are found on the continent of Asia? And this is according to Wikipedia's list.
Okay. We're going to say we can get within 10.
Okay. Ken and Jeff?
Let's make them answer. They have no idea. Look, if there's one thing I know about Neil and Matt, it's that they're dumb. And they suck.
I'm fine.
And they're 20 points ahead.
Let's have them name that tune.
Name that tune. So how many total countries are there in Asia?
Within 10, right?
Plus or minus 10, yes.
Actually, that might be a big enough
That's fine.
range.
We're going to go with 50.
You are within 10.
Cool.
In fact, you're very close. The correct answer, according to Wikipedia's list, is 48.
Yeah.
Nice, Matt. It's all Matt.
48. And I keep referencing Wikipedia's list because various sources have various definitions of country and Asia. So this question, number 2 in the swing round, we'll start with Ken and Jeff. Including backup vocals. How many times is the word Roxanne heard in the Police song Roxanne?
Are you guys really singing the song?
I say within 10.
Okay.
You good with that?
Yeah, that's
They
fine.
say they can name it within 10.
Only in backup vocals?
Including backup
Including
vocals.
backup vocals. I know. I think it's a high number, and I'm not sure if they're going to get there. I would say make them answer it.
I'm pretty confident, but yeah, let's make them answer.
All right. Within 10, name that tune.
Do you want to go with...
I think it's...
I'm going to say 30 to 35.
I was going to go a little bit higher because the chorus is always...
Let's say 35.
40.
All right, we'll go 40.
Okay.
I regret to inform you, you should have gone 35.
Oh,
the correct
no.
answer is 26.
Wow.
Sting himself sings it 6 times. It is heard 20 distinct times in the backup vocals.
I had it written down as 23.
Okay, so
I was thinking 30.
Neil and Matt off to a quick 2-0 lead.
I figured
Name that
about
tune.
10 per verse chorus rotation.
Yeah.
Probably 3 verse choruses, 30.
Number 3 in the swing round,
Okay,
and
Bird.
this will start with Neil and Matt. If I had $1 million in singles, how much would that weigh? Rounded to the nearest pound.
Jeff's going to know this because it's money,
Yeah.
right?
Jeff has to just do math correctly, which is not always a good thing.
So
How
a million...
much does $1 million in $1 bills weigh?
So, I think we can name that tune within 4 pounds.
Within 4 pounds.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Answer.
Answer that.
I'm telling you to name that tune,
That
gentlemen.
is a bad sign for us.
4 pounds? Are you kidding me?
4 pounds.
I've never held more than like $40. Let's
Okay,
be
well,
real.
you answer. I want to see what you answer, and then I'll come up with my logic, and I'll see how close I get.
All right.
Okay.
So, based on that, it's
Yeah.
higher than I think. So,
Okay. What were you thinking?
I thought it was low. I thought it was like 30 or 40. I don't know.
40 pounds? That's
Yeah,
it?
I don't know.
Well, think of a suitcase in the movies when they go to buy guns.
It's
And
got the
there's,
suitcase in it. The suitcase weighs.
well, I'm just saying that's probably like $100,000, right? So that's probably
But
weighing.
that's in like 20s
That's
or
in
50s
$100
and
bills
100s.
Well, I know, I'm trying to do the math, even though I can't do math. So that's probably
So we're looking at least
20 pounds, right?
500 plus, right?
Yeah, so it's like 20 pounds with the weight. Bring it down to singles. It probably
Pushing
goes
the
up to
pound.
60 pounds. 60 times 10 is 600.
So let's do 674
Yeah.
based off nothing.
Let's go with me.
674.
674 pounds, and you said you wanted to take a stab at it before I reveal?
So, okay, so, yes, I do work in a bank, so I do occasionally handle money. From the Federal Reserve, you get $1,000, 10 straps, essentially, of bills. So you would need 1,000 of those. They weigh about, well, they feel like they might be a little light. So I'm thinking like 1.5 pounds, so I'm thinking maybe 1,500 pounds.
Okay. I will tell you, Jeff, that your answer is much closer than 674, but no, you are not within 4 pounds. You are not within 400 pounds.
Damn.
2,205 pounds, or 1 metric ton.
Back in the napkin math.
That's all right.
So it's 2-1 right now. Ken and Jeff, the onus is on you for the first bid on this question. Canonically speaking, how many total Sherlock Holmes adventures did Sir Arthur Conan Doyle write? When I say canonically here, I mean the ones
Yeah,
to
I
which
really like
Sherlock
him, but-
Holmes fans consider to be the official stories.
But you've been better at this with that, so I want to err on the side of caution. I'm comfortable around yours. What do
Okay,
you
we'll
want to go to
say
range?
within 10.
You said within 10?
Within
Let's
10?
do within 9.
Okay, we can do within 9.
Within 9.
Think we can do 8?
8.
8.
I think we can go within 6.
Within 6.
Ooh,
Let's
to
make 'em do
6
it.
we go.
Okay.
Do it.
All right.
All right,
so
Neil,
let's-
Matt, name that tune.
Let's do. Should we go 18 to get the 12
Yeah,
up to?
let's do that.
Okay.
And then when it's 25, we'll hate ourselves.
18.
Okay, the guess is 18. The guess is low. Point to Ken and Jeff on this. The correct answer is 60.
What?
Okay.
And that doesn't include any one-off fundraiser stories that he wrote, anything that was written by his successors. It's the canonical 60, according to Holmesians. Number 5, and we'll start with Neil and Matt on this one. If the Statue of Liberty were a real woman, what would her shoe size be?
So we have to get within the right shoe size. So
Let's start with like 30.
okay, within 30.
Within 30, okay.
I'm going to go within 20.
Within 20.
Let them.
Neil, Matt?
Answer it.
Okay. So let's
Ken
do a
and
little bit
Jeff,
of math
within
here.
20.
So We have to be within 20, right? So let's go a little
Within
high
20,
because we
yes.
can cover back low. And let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
45.
Size 45. You are not within 20.
Yeah.
Her shoe size, if she were a real woman in the U.S., would be size 879.
Wow.
Each foot is approximately 25 feet long from end to end.
Oh, there you go.
And
About
when
the
you
size of my
convert that
apartment.
to a U.S. Female shoe size, 879. Now, she would be 877 and a half in men's shoes.
Okay.
And that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in Crocs.
That's where we made our mistake.
It's right there.
If they were Mandals, yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
Number 6, and we'll start with Ken and Jeff on this one. Believe it or not, the record for the most total songs to appear on the Billboard Hot 100 chart is held by the cast of Glee.
Mm-hmm.
How many total songs of theirs have made it to the Hot 100?
Within 20.
Sure.
Within 20.
Within 20?
Do you think we could get within 15? I don't.
I'm not confident about it, but I think our logic's correct. I just don't know if we can do it.
Why don't you guys name it?
Should say 40 then. Because it would cover then that would cover the 20.
I don't know if I want to go. I don't know. I feel just to be safe on the law.
35?
35? Yeah.
35.
35?
I think they're done.
Point's going to go to Neil and Matt on this one. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you have a question not too long ago on your podcast involving how many Madonna songs reached the top 10?
That was mine.
And that was 38.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That was top 10.
That's why I was...
Top 100.
yeah.
Glee has had 207 distinct performances. Number 7, and Neil and Matt, this starts with you. While not big enough to be a planet anymore, Pluto is still a pretty big thing. What is its diameter in miles?
He knows this. So I don't even...
Well, so
Its average diameter in miles.
I mean, well, let's say within 100, and they can
Okay.
within 100.
Okay.
So I want to make them guess it.
All right, they should guess it.
Your guess is as good as mine. I just know Jeff's going to know it.
Okay, yeah, 1,800 miles.
1,800 is pretty close, but not within 100. 1,473 miles.
That was a good guess, so...
Ken and Jeff, we move to you for number 8. This is a question to which the answer has changed since I originally wrote it. The question is, how many episodes of Doctor Who have been aired since the series debuted in 1963?
Look at them.
We'll go within 100.
Okay, first bid is in. Ken and Jeff say they can guess it within 100. Neil and Matt, your response?
Okay.
Guess it.
Name that tune, gentlemen.
I'm pretty confident in
Want to say 7?
my
No,
knowledge
wait,
of the...
but
All right,
Doctors.
800.
800 even?
I think it's too much, but
I
800.
think it's too low.
So you think 800 is too high, you think 800 is too low?
Yep.
Nicely done, Jeff. The correct answer is 829.
Wow.
With the 830th episode airing yesterday. So the official total as of the date of this recording is 830. By the time you hear it at home, the number will probably be closer to 840.
All right, good job, Jeff.
Yeah, point goes to Ken and Jeff on that.
That was good. That was close to what I was thinking.
Yeah.
All right, number 9, as we get to the tail end of the swing round, Neil and Matt, you start this off. Loma, Montana set the record for biggest temperature change in a 24-hour period in 1972. How many degrees Fahrenheit did the temperature swing that day?
Yeah.
I think we can get.
If you're confident, then go for it. I'm not.
We can get within 15 degrees.
Okay, 15 is the
Do
opening
you know the
bid.
exact number?
I'm trying to think. I know what it came. I know what the ending one was.
Yeah.
So, you want to go 7?
Okay, 7.
Big jump there to 7.
Let him answer, right? 7's not a lot.
It's not a lot, but I know Jeff's confident, and right now I believe we're tied in the swing round. So
You are currently at 4 apiece.
Let's go 6.
6.
We're gonna go 6.
6, Ken and Jeff.
Let's keep going.
5.
5.
5.
Let him answer 5.
So it went from being like negative 65 degrees to like a positive 55 degrees or 50.
So let's say 105.
Yeah, that's fine. We can go 105.
105 is the guess.
Yeah.
Very, very close. 103.
Yeah.
All right, so 10th and final question in the swing round. Ken and Jeff, you have the onus. The question is, how many of the whole numbers from 1 to 1,000 are prime numbers?
Let's go within 200.
Within 200 is the opening bid. Neil and Matt?
We'll say 150.
Okay, 150 coming back.
Okay, we'll go within 125.
125.
Within 100.
We'll go within 50.
Ooh, big jump
That's a
there.
big jump. Let's...
Neil and Matt, 50 is the bid right now.
I don't know anything about prime numbers, but I was just trying to go through 1 through 50 in my head. And
Well,
I'm just multiplying times.
I know everything about prime numbers, so I'm very confident. That's what I'm saying.
I know nothing about math.
This is not the best strategy. We're going to do 30.
I wouldn't go any more
We'll
than
go
25.
25.
Let him name it.
Let's go 70.
You want to go 75?
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll go 75.
75 is the answer. The correct answer is 168.
Wow.
Oh, man. I was so
range.
close. Oh, my God.
Neil had written down 160 to 180.
Complete
so-
guess.
That's
Migraine medicine.
Way more than I was
The
thinking.
migraine victory. Each team received points for 5 of them, so no swing came from the swing round. Our current score going into the second half is Neil and Matt are ahead 150 to Ken and Jeff's 130. All right, teams, welcome to round 2. Let's start off with question number 1. It got its start at Harvard in 1876, but after almost a century of publication, went nationwide in 1970. It has films, radio shows, and live theater productions under its umbrella, and helped launch some of the most famous names in comedy in the 1970s. What magazine is it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Damn.
We're locked in.
They got something.
Okay. I hope it's not Mad, but all right, we're in.
Neil and Matt, what do you say?
Said Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone magazine. All right, Ken and Jeff?
We went with National Lampoon.
Oh, that's it.
And
Oh.
National Lampoon it is.
I knew we would
Points
hear
to
it.
Ken and Jeff on that.
That began as the Harvard Lampoon,
Yep.
correct?
Started as the Harvard Lampoon, went nationwide in the early 70s. I'm sure you can think of some of the famous names in comedy it launched. And just so you know, the magazine stopped printing in 1998, unfortunately, due to lagging subscription sales. But the franchise has still produced films as recently as 2015. The most famous recent one would be the Van Wilder series. But their first film was Animal House, and it was preserved in the National Film Registry back in 2001 for its cultural impact. All right, gentlemen, question 2. Pyrosis is a medical condition that affects at least 60 million Americans, particularly pregnant women and the elderly. It is more commonly known by what name?
That makes the most sense to me.
What if it's something with bed sores? Is there something?
Oh, that actually is really good.
Is there a name for something?
Yeah, I mean, because the pyrosis made me think pyro of fire, but the osis, if you took the pyre,
I think it's like a bed rash, but I can't.
yeah,
think.
the rash is good.
Let's go with bed sores.
Okay.
We're gonna go with bed sores.
All right, Ken and Jeff, what do you think?
We went for hot flashes.
Hot flashes. Great guess based on the etymology of the word, but not quite correct. Pyrosis is more commonly known as heartburn.
Heartburn.
Oh, that makes sense.
Damn.
If you would have said pregnant women, elderly, and Neil, I would have gotten it.
And Jeff.
So I don't have acid reflux.
Well, heartburn.
I can say for the record, having been with a woman who was twice impregnated, heartburn
Yeah.
is a thing that happens. Question 3. What type of food, technically a bean despite its name, is also a musical foursome consisting of Americans of Jamaican, Filipino, Mexican, and European descent?
Yeah, this is a really good question.
I thank you for that. Your opinion may differ if you hear the answer, but
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so pleased with myself. All right, fellas.
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell me what you want over there, Neil?
what you really, really want.
I'm gonna go with menudo because I don't care.
That's fine.
Menudo.
Menudo is your guess. Ken and Jeff?
We're going to go with the black-eyed peas.
Damn it.
You sure are going to go with the black-eyed
Damn.
peas. That is absolutely correct.
So for the record, we wrote menudo down as a joke, but yeah.
Black-eyed peas are technically a bean and not a pea. For the record, other misleading food names that I looked up while writing this question include head cheese, sweetbreads, and Rocky Mountain oysters,
Oh, yeah.
which sound
both
appetizing
testicles. They are
but
not.
are eye and brain jelly, thymus glands, and testicles. Respectively.
Well, I got a feeling that I'm going to take one of my Black Eyed Peas albums and break it later.
Question 4. Located about 10 miles north of the Mexican border in California and considered the largest body of water in California, what sea was formed in 1905 when the Colorado River flooded through an irrigation canal?
Locked in.
Jeff, quick to the trigger on this one.
Can you name a sea?
I had it written down
So-
before you finished the question.
This might be my most straightforward question of the day.
Sure.
Okay, we're locked in.
Neil and Matt have come up with what they claim is a funny answer, so let's hear that one first.
It's the OC.
The OC. Oh, I see what you did there.
Please don't call it that.
Ken and Jeff?
All right, so the Salton Sea.
The Salton Sea is the body of water you want here.
I'm gonna plug 99% Invisible for all of you people who haven't listened to it. It's great. Roman Mars is great. They have a whole episode on the Salton Sea. Basically, people thought it was going to be like the next big, like boom town. They built all these towns around it, and then they're ghost towns now. So it's mostly because the sea is slightly dangerous to human beings. So you probably don't want to go swimming there. But
Question number 5. Other than a dessert shop, where would you find donut, gingerbread, lollipop, and ice cream sandwich?
So we were thinking about Candyland. So we know the original Candyland characters,
Yeah, but
and those are not them.
That's not them.
They did reissue Candyland. I don't know if they just updated the imagery or if they actually changed the characters.
that's fine.
I don't think it's right, but
No, I don't think so
Candyland.
either.
We'll go
All right,
Candyland.
so Ken and Jeff are locked in with Candyland?
Yep.
So I believe those are Android operating systems.
Oh,
so
And
we-
you are
Yeah.
absolutely correct. They are indeed the nicknames for various iterations and versions of the Android operating system.
Yeah.
In fact, every major version of the Android OS has been named after a dessert food, and they do so alphabetically by differing first letter. The first one to come out publicly was C, or cupcake. We're currently on version N, which has been nicknamed Nougat.
Yep.
Question 6, gentlemen. Most fears or phobias in life are the result of bad experiences or observations, but according to research, there are 2 fears humans are innately born with. Using 2 guesses, name either of them correctly.
Okay, Jeff, I have 2 that I'm writing here down on the piece of paper. What do you think about that?
Yep, I agree with those.
Okay. How about you guys?
So Ken and Jeff are locked in. Matt and Neil?
So I wrote one that I felt kind of strongly about, just for some reason my gut was telling me to, and Matt has one that he wrote down from his gut, so we're 50-50 on 2 of them. So
Neil and Matt, what say you?
so start with your answer.
So I said public speaking.
And my reasoning behind this was I figured since the caveman and Prometheus, the story that we always wanted to create fire because we didn't want to be in the dark and get killed in the dark by creatures, I put dark.
Okay, I can see why you would go with both of those answers. Ken, Jeff?
So the one that I felt really strongly on was Fear of the Dark.
Okay.
And I was also mulling over Heights, but we did not go with that. By Jeff's behest, we went with Death.
You should have gone with Heights, because I would have accepted it in this case.
Falling?
Falling is one of the 2 innate fears that, according to researchers, humans are born with. They have done experiments that show specifically infants and babies who are crawling will refuse to crawl over an area, even though it's safe, if it appears as though they might fall. I believe it's called the plexiglass cliff experiment.
I've seen that one.
Interestingly enough, the other one, and this will make a ton of sense when you hear it, loud noises. As a professional trivia writer, phobias are a great fodder for questions. As an example, hippopotamonstrosesquipedalia
That's the
phobia
fear of long words.
is the ironically named fear of long words.
That's funny.
Oh, what scares you? Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it.
Please.
That was always a favorite of mine, which is
but
why Ken
it's
was able
so
to
delightfully
chime in.
arbitrary.
Yeah.
Question 7. A member of the new wave of musical talent in the early 80s, Gary Newman is best remembered for a song named For What Kind of Transportation?
Yep, we're in.
So as for myself, I work on a volunteer basis at a music television show, and we had the honor of having Gary Newman into the studio.
Oh, no kidding.
I was not there that day, but I did see the footage.
Okay.
I was there for many other very cool performances, however.
So you didn't get a live experience of Gary Newman's rich and diverse discography?
No, I missed that one, but I'm 1 degree separated from Gary Newman.
That's not new wave, but let's just go with that.
What is it? Oh, yeah. Everyone's doing it.
Okay.
It's the Love Train.
Love Train.
Okay. Ken and Jeff?
Here in my car, I feel safest of all. I can lock all the doors. Can't remember the next verse.
I know. Here in my car.
Something all things in cars. But yeah, Cars by
Gary Newman, best known for his new wave hit, Cars.
Jesus.
10 points going to Ken and Jeff. And I will tell you, gentlemen, the reason I wrote this question is so that I could follow it up with this fact. Gary Newman is 13 days older than Gary Oldman.
Oh, wonderful.
They were both born in August of, I believe, 1963, 13 days apart.
Let me also mention, when he was on the show, he performed new music, and a lot of times when old musicians come back to perform, their new stuff, they're like, okay, I'm back, and it's sometimes kind of lame, but he kicked ass.
Oh, very nice. Question number 8. Many last names of English origin are simply old occupations, like Smith and Baker. If your last name is Fletcher, odds are one of your ancestors made what tool of warfare?
Or is that really warfare, though, or is that more like...
That would be warfare.
Yeah, I mean... I'm fine with either one.
Okay, let's just go with that.
Okay.
Neil and Matt, you ready?
Yep.
All right, we'll start with Ken and Jeff. You guys locked in a little earlier.
Pretty sure Fletchers make the implement that you would put in a quiver. They make arrows.
Neil and Matt, what do you think?
So we crossed out bow and arrow and put flail.
They do not make flails. They don't make bows either, but they do,
arrows.
in fact, make arrows by trade. A Fletcher is an arrow maker. A Bowyer, Bowyer, is who makes bows. Just out of curiosity, what do you guys think a knocker-up does for a living? Or did for a living? It is a historical job.
Your mom.
Mark it.
A knocker-up?
A knocker-up. An actual job that existed in the past.
Right, so I believe they restring bows. Because there's a knock with the bow, but I can't remember exactly what they do.
Okay. Decent guess. It's wrong, but it's a decent guess.
Yeah.
You guys have any idea?
No.
A knocker-up was a person who was paid to literally knock on people's doors and windows in the morning to wake them before the advent of alarm clocks. They were known in 19th century England as knockers-up.
They're the original wake-up call at the hotel.
I do remember that.
Question number 9. My first name is a type of carnivorous animal. My last name is someone who suddenly attacks, either on the battlefield or the gridiron. What journalistic figure am I?
Got it. Locked in.
We're in.
It was vaguely sports related, so I had an answer.
All right, let's
just tap out.
Let's tap out.
That's fine.
So Ken and Jeff, no answer on this one. No guess, huh? Neil and Matt?
So I will give the kudos to Matt for immediately knowing this answer and me agreeing with him.
Yeah, it's a Wolf Blitzer.
It certainly is Wolf Blitzer, the CNN journalistic anchor figure. For the record, Wolf was named after his maternal grandfather, according to an interview he gave, in case you're wondering where the name Wolf came from. There was only one other famous person in the U.S. named Wolf that I could find, and it's Wolf Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen's son, who is now the current bass player. Yeah. Wolf, in this case, short for Wolfgang. All right, question 10. Since 1941, what media brand has been the operator of the National Spelling Bee that bears its name?
I love that the first thing I think of is Putnam County, which is the musical.
What does that say?
Scripps. The Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Does that sound right? I don't even know what that is.
I don't either, but it just popped into my head.
Fine.
Let's just go with that, because I don't know what it is.
Word that came into your head is our answer.
Okay.
Okay, Neil and Matt, you're locking in with
Scripps.
Ken and Jeff?
I'm really mad because I wrote Scripps.
And for the first time in the second half, both teams have given the correct answer. Feel free to be jubilant on that. It is indeed the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
I don't know where that came from. I just immediately was like, Scripps.
Going into our final round, Neil and Matt, you have 180 points on the board. Ken and Jeff, 190. It is a 10-point game right now going into our final 5 categories. As a reminder, the final 5 categories work as follows. Each team can wager between 0 to 30 points on each question using the points that they have earned during regulation. They will wager based on their knowledge of the 5 categories I'm about to announce. Those wagers will be in advance of any questions. If they're right, of course, they will earn the points they've wagered. However, if they are wrong, they will lose them. So it is Ken, Matt, Neil, Jeff. It is anybody's game right now. Category number 1, famous dicks. Category number 2, ancient Rome. Category number 3, Pokemon. Category number 4, puzzles. And category number 5, Canadian music.
God.
Please lock in your wagers at this time. All right, teams, you both have locked in your wagers. You ready for our final questions?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Question number 1. The category again is famous dicks. And your question: Dick Vermeil is a former NFL coach who brought 3 different franchises to the playoffs in his career.
Playoffs?
His only Super Bowl ring came as a result of his championship run with what team? Question number 2. The category is ancient Rome. 2 well-known men, a father and son with the same name, were witnesses to the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. The father died, while the son wrote the best account of the eruption that exists today. What name did they share? Question number 3. The category is Pokemon. The 2016 release of Pokemon Go was a fad that, of its nature, hadn't been seen in recent memory, with over 130 million players in its first month of release. What company, formerly a part of Google, leveraged its experience from developing augmented reality games like Ingress to make Pokemon Go?
You good on that one?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Question number 4. The category is puzzles. Will Shorts is a prolific name in the puzzle world. He is probably best known for being in charge of what specific puzzle since 1993?
100% on that one.
All right. Should have bet more on these.
I know.
And question number 5. The category is Canadian music. Referenced in the film South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, what Canadian singer has won more Juno Awards than any other in history?
Are you sure it wasn't Brian Baitano?
A lot of guessing on our end,
Okay.
but we're in.
You're locked in as well?
Yep.
All right, we'll take them question by question. Question 1, once again, famous dicks. Dick Vermeil is a former NFL coach who brought 3 different franchises to the playoffs in his career. His only Super Bowl ring came as a result of his championship run with what team? Neil and Matt, you bet 10 points on this. Your answer is?
I believe that was the 99 St. Louis Rams.
Okay, so you've gone with the St. Louis Rams. Ken and Jeff for 20 points. Your answer is?
Just as a guess, who said the Cowboys?
Went with the Dallas Cowboys. 10 points are going to Neil and Matt. It was indeed the 1999 St. Louis Rams, known at the time as the greatest show on turf. Question number 2, the category Ancient Rome. 2 well-known men, a father and son with the same name, were witnesses to the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. What name did they share? We will start with Ken and Jeff for 10 points.
Again, kind of a guess. We just picked a famous ancient Roman and said Cicero.
Cicero. And Neil and Matt actually didn't bet anything on this one, but I assume you took a guess.
Yeah, we went with the perennial favorite Roman, Rashan Salam.
Rashan Salam. I regret to inform you it is not indeed Rashan Salam. That costs you nothing. However, it is also not Cicero, and that will cost you 10 points, Ken and Jeff. The correct answer, Pliny.
Oh, Pliny the Elder.
And Pliny the Younger, his son. Pliny the Younger wrote the account. Pliny the Elder, very famous Roman who passed away as a result of the eruption. Question number 3, the category again, Pokemon. The 2016 release of Pokemon Go was a fad whose likes hadn't been seen in recent memory, with over 130 million players in its first month of release. What company, formerly a part of Google, leveraged its experience from developing augmented reality games like Ingress to make Pokemon Go? Neil and Matt, you wagered 30 points on this one.
Yep, that would be Niantic.
Okay, and Ken and Jeff for 10 points.
We also had Niantic.
And you are both correct. It is indeed Niantic, once part of the Google umbrella. And consequently got its name from the same Native American tribe that the town Nantucket got its name from, by way of a whaling ship during the gold rush. Interesting story, too long to go into. Question 4, the category puzzles. Will Shorts is a prolific name in the puzzle world. He's probably best known for being in charge of what specific puzzle since 1993? Ken and Jeff, you wagered 20 points on this one.
Again, kind of having trouble coming up with an answer in reference to what kind of puzzle one would be in charge of. So we just had to say Rubik's.
Okay, going with the Rubik's Cube, I would.
Yeah.
And Neil and Matt for 10 points.
Matt looked at me and he said, I hope it's a question about How I Met Your Mother because of the bar named Puzzles. And ironically enough, Will Shorts was on an episode of How I Met Your Mother with Peter Bogdanovich when Ted wanted to be very pretentious, and he met Will Shorts, the runner of the New York Times crossword puzzle.
That is a fact that Will Shorts did a cameo on How I Met Your Mother, and he did indeed talk about his experience as the editor of the New York Times crossword puzzle
Yeah,
since
it makes more sense now.
1993. So 10 points for Neil and Matt. Unfortunately, 20 points down are Ken and Jeff. Fifth and final question, and this one might determine our winners today. The category Canadian music. Again, referenced in the film South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. What Canadian singer has won more Juno Awards than any other in history? Neil and Matt wagered 10 points on this.
I said Neil Young.
Neil Young, he is certainly Canadian, for what it's worth. Ken and Jeff, for 30 points.
I believe that is Celine Dion.
Celine Dion is a great guess. If she had won just a few more Juno Awards, she is number 2 all-time on the Juno Award
Well,
list.
we took a f***ing beating on this last round.
Behind Canadian icon, that Anne Murray.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Anne Murray, 24 total Juno Awards.
Wow. Who was the cream of the crop today?
The cream of the crop was, I will tell you, you went in with 180 points. You walked out with 220, Neil and Matt. Ken and Jeff had the lead going in at 190.
It was all downhill from there.
Yeah, and I believe you finished with 140.
Nice. Yep.
If my math is correct. So by 80 points on the final 5 categories. Congratulations, Neil and Matt.
Rise to the top.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Well, it felt good after getting 6 out of the first 7 in round 2 wrong to actually get some right at the end there. So
Good work
It was
there.
quite the
Good
schneid
work.
you were on in the second half.
Yeah, it was a really fun game, and it was so awesome to have you host it because you're the reason that we came together. Our team formed. You're the Captain Planet to our Planeteers.
I'm the Zordon to your Power Rangers.
Yes.
You're the loser with the heart ring, though, Neil.
What is that?
So I hate to point
Monty
out.
had his purpose.
I hate to point out the fact that Jason's math is wrong. We actually ended with 120.
So,
So it's even worse that he's
You still lost, but
yeah, it hurts more.
If you guys want to play with the host of Triviality or against the host of Triviality and see some more of my fiendish questions, you can check us out every Monday night at Brixie's Beer Pub in Brookfield, Illinois. We're there from 8 to about 11 p.m. We do it every Monday night. Other shows we have on a weekly basis, if you don't want to compete against the gentleman from Triviality, include Winchester Brewing Company in Willow Springs every Tuesday, Katie O'Connor's in Plainfield every Wednesday, Mike and Denise's Pizzeria in Yorkville every Wednesday as well. You can catch us every Thursday at Spot on 66 in Countryside. And on the first and third Thursdays of the month, you can see me at Cigars and Stripes, located in Berwyn.
And they can find you on Facebook at Liquid Courage Entertainment, spelled with a K and Courage.
The short code for that would be just facebook.com/liquidcourage. But yes, to be very clear, the courage is spelled with a K because I don't know how to spell courage.
Wonderful. Well, thank you to Jason for hosting an awesome game. Hopefully we'll have him back soon. If you guys like to play along with our contestants, which would be us or anyone else we have on as a guest, make sure to check out our Facebook page and download our official Triviality score sheet. If you'd like to get in touch with any of us, find us on Twitter using the handle @TrivialityPod or on Facebook at facebook.com/TrivialityPod. And if you'd like to get in touch with us by email, send all messages to trivialitypodcast@gmail.com. And if it's a question 5 submission, make sure to put that in the subject line with the host that you would like to use the question. Of course, other than spreading the word, the best way you can support the show is by rating, reviewing, and subscribing to Triviality on your favorite podcast app. But until next time, on behalf of Jeff, Ken, Matt, and today Jason, my name is Neil, and that was Triviality.
down the block. He made a great liver pate. You know he did, you know he did, you know he did. But if there's one thing in this world that I like better than a corned beef on rye, it's chicken pot pie. Chicken pot pie.